high level?
The vision for high level is to create a like-minded school of superhumans. I mean, people who reach the highest level of thinking, doing, living, feeling, being, right? If I think about the idea of people that I want to be around for the rest of my life, I think of people who are masters at what they do, to where we honor each other and we appreciate each other because each person has brought out their gift in such an outstanding way that they're impactful on themselves, their world, their community, their family, their greatness. One of the first things we do, right, and I did in the order previously, is coming up with these customized plans for everybody, right? So, I've been building out my AI for customization. And so as you come in there, number one, there's a file that you have to have on yourself and a file that we have to have on you. So I came up with a list of different things. That's the first thing you have to do once you come into high level. You have to take all of the assessment tests, right? Because there is your dream, right? And then there is your nature, right? Then there is, things that are direct to you and who you are. So there's a lot of things that people don't understand, that they struggle with themselves because they lack of knowledge of self to understand themselves, right? I had to look up my human design. I had to look up my Myers-Briggs type. I had to look up my intelligence type. I had to figure out if I'm an abductive or deductive thinker, right? I had to figure out, do my ACEs test to figure out how much trauma that I may have had. I had to figure out what type of lover you are. You have to figure out what type of thinker you are. You have to figure out all of these different things. Now, once you compile that and you have this knowledge of self, now you're operating from a place of knowing. You're not operating from this negative space trying to fill a void, right? And a lot of people won't reach that zenith because they don't know who they are, and they're trying to build up their weaknesses instead of flow with their strengths, right? And so with high level, it's all about getting you to that higher capacity of thinking and doing, where you feel great, you execute great, and your quality of living is higher. So, you understand cosmology. Cosmology is, it's similar to if you think about astrology, because people think that, extra planetary events, cosmic events have an effect on who they are and what they do, right? That there are retrogrades that happen, and during this cycle, there's an effect. But it's not just about what is happening, but it's about how you feel and your connection to that. Right. And so when we're talking about creating this cosmic minded people, it is an understanding of your design and how the universe interacts with your design. Some people operate better dealing with different laws. There's different type of attorneys. Right. So when I think about laws of the universe, you got to ask yourself what type of lawyer you want to be. Right. There's our defense lawyers. Right. There are district attorneys. There's public defenders. There's people who specialize in trust. There's people who specialize in, different types of law. So everybody don't have to know all of the laws or all of the Constitution, but figure out the laws that are in line with your nature on how you want to execute. Some lawyers are just good at corporate or business law, right? Some are just good at tax or estate law. So there's some people who utilize the laws of confidence. Some people utilize the law of focus. Some people who utilize the laws of reciprocity. Some people who utilize the law of the unified mastermind, right? Some people who utilize the law of the superconscious mind. And so as you go through those different laws, you find the ones that you can power yourself with and empower yourself with throughout life. So there are some people who are, intelligent emotionally. There are some people who are great communicators. That's your asset, right? If you are a great communicator, you have a wealth that a large percentage of the world wish they had, right? That's a wealth that I know that is an asset to me. But if I did not refine this wealth, right, then I wouldn't be no better than somebody else, right, that is mediocre with it. And oftentimes what people don't do is they don't give enough effort in producing that strength because they're so used to being good at it that they don't feel like they have to do anything. And because they feel like they don't have to do anything and they get complimented for something that's natural to them that they're gifted for, right? They don't usually put in that effort to become a master in that area. So there's very few people on this planet that actually master themselves and master their gifts and become one of the ones that become remembered forever, right? Or that has such a powerful, impactful ability with their gifts that they can create wealth and abundance with it. Your gift is supposed to make way for you. Right? Your gift is supposed to make way for you. I was talking with the brothers, Red Pill and Blue Pill, and the problem with a lot of people is everybody does not want to play their role in life anymore. Right? Everybody's looking at everybody else's role. In a movie, you get a script, and only one person can play each role. But then imagine you get your script, God hands you your script, and you say, "No, I want to play this character. Can I be the main character?" And they're like, "Whoa, brother. The main character is for somebody who's 6'5", who can communicate, who has a certain background, you know what I'm saying, that has a certain charisma, that has experience in this level, blah, blah, blah." Say, like, you don't fit that. No disrespect, but that's not what your role is for. You focus on your role. Did you even read your part that you got to play? Because their role doesn't even work if your role is not filled, right? And this is why, this movie of unity that we talk about as a people, this movie of ascension that we talk about as a people hasn't worked because people do not want to play their role. Everybody wants to be the main character, right? But even the main character isn't really the main character. He is only a part of it. They just call him the main because he has a role to play. But everybody else roll around that character is what allows that character to thrive and flourish, right? Even the enemies of that character, because then that's the mythos and the hero's tale. Even the people that doubt him, the people that hate him, you all have roles to play, right? You're building up this script so that there's an eventual outcome of it. But when I talk about people really embracing their self, their skills, anonymity is a gift. Sometimes you don't have to be the person that's even known. But because everybody wants to be famous, they're now trying to play roles that they have weaknesses in. Some people are not good in front of the camera, yet they set up a whole podcast setup, right? And they think that that's what they want because that's how they go get exposure. That's how they go get fame. That's how they go sit in front of these guests or celebrities and make themselves feel more exalted. You shouldn't even be the one in front of a camera. That's not your role. You don't have those traits and abilities that's going to take that to the next level. But you may be the visionary that you can take somebody else who sits in front of that camera, right? And then you can exalt them to the highest level. And then this can become a masterpiece to where it get awards and accreditation and it has impact across the planet. But because you don't want to play your role, the formula can't come together. So for me, I think about bringing out the gifts, skills, and talents, right, of people so that they can actually be high level. That to me is the bigger thing, right? In a family, you have to have roles, otherwise you have dysfunction. And when something is not functioning, it means it's not working properly, right? And work is the exertion of energy into the process. So when people are broke, it's because they're not functioning in a working role that is producing results. It's very simple when you break it down, right? But it requires knowledge of self. It requires grit. It requires resilience. It requires self-empathy. It requires healing. It requires you to go through the shadow self. And it requires elevation.